Hello, Network to Code community. My name is Tim Fiola. I'm your developer advocate here at Network to Code. Today we're going to be talking about the Nautobot version control app. This video is going to deal with setting up a demo environment so someone who's interested in the version control app can set up a running instance of Nautobot that is running the version control app. This is the first video in a series of videos that we're calling the demo series. That's a bit more hands-on. The goal of this video is to assist the user and show the user how to create a demo environment with sample data so a user can demo the version control app for themselves. Now, this demo instant runs on containers, so you will need Docker running. And right below this, here is the repository link that we'll be using today for the version control app. And with that, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. The first step here is to clone the repository. So we'll go ahead over to the version control app repository. We'll grab the URL that lets us clone it, go back to our terminal here, and we'll do a git clone with the repository URL. Great. From this point on, we're going to just head down into the README file, and we'll just follow the directions there for the local dev and test environment. So the first step is to install Invoke. So we'll go ahead and do that. Just copy that, and we'll do a pip3 install Invoke. Invoke is a way to let us interact with the Docker containers. All right, it's already installed. Great. So at this point, we'll go ahead and head down to the commands. So we need to do one command here to initialize the environment. So at this point, we'll take a look at our directories. We've got this Nautobot plugin version control. That is what we cloned. That is the folder we cloned. So we'll go ahead and switch into that folder. And at that point, we need to run this command to copy some files over to a working file that will help us initialize our environment. So we'll go ahead and do that now. We're just copying creds example env over to creds.env in the development folder. Great. So next step we do is we do an invoke build. We're just following the directions right here. And this will build the containers for us. This can sometimes take more than a few seconds. Great, there we go. Next step is to go invoke migrate. So let's do that. This migration step can also take more than a few seconds as well. Okay, there we go. The invoke migrate step has completed. On my computer, I edited out some of the wait there, but on my computer that took about a little over 2 minutes, it looks like, to complete. So that's completely expected. All right, going back to the instructions here. The next step is to invoke load data. Now, what this command will do is this will load some sample data into the database so that once your test demo instance is up and running, you have some sample data to play around with as you practice workflows and poke around at the capabilities that the version control app brings to the table. So we'll go ahead and hit invoke load data. Now this step will take 15, sometimes up to 30 minutes, depending on your computer, to complete. So I will start this step right now, and it'll go through a little bit of startup here, and then it'll take about 15 to 20, maybe up to 30 minutes for this data to fully load, completely expected. And as we go through this, you'll see these runtime warnings. Those are completely expected. That's not a problem. Okay, that took a few minutes, but all the data has been loaded, so we're looking good there. So the next thing is to do an invoke start. Now you can either do an invoke start, which will start your containers, or you can do an invoke debug, which will launch your containers in debug mode. And for the purposes of this demo, we're going to launch the containers in debug mode. So instead of invoke start, I'm going to go ahead and type invoke debug. Now this will take a few seconds for the containers to spin up, but in about a minute or so, it's going to tell us that Nautobot is available on our local browser. And as we're going through this here, understand we're spinning up what is a demo and test server. This server is not suitable for any type of production deployment. So this is only suitable for demo purposes and testing purposes, kicking the tires, definitely not production. All right, there we go. We got our indication that we're already on port 8080, so I'll go ahead and copy that, and I'll go over here to a new browser window, and there we go. Now, as part of this, if we go back to the instructions here, it automatically created two logins for us. One is admin admin, and one is demo and Nautobot. So we'll log in with admin admin. All right, there you go. We're all in. Perfect. So just a quick look around here. Up at the top here, you see the version control app is installed as part of the top level menu. And if you click down on that, you have the four top level menu items: branches, pull requests, commits, and diffs. Now we have a previous video in this series that walks through all these options and what they do. So feel free to go ahead and reference that. All right, folks, well, that does it. This wraps up this instructional video for how to spin up your own demo and test instance of Nautobot running the version control app. I hope it's super helpful, and thank you, and have a great day.